I am Hilary Nicholson, and I am a volunteer member and a founding member of WMW Jamaica. For many years, we were known as Women's Media at Jamaica, but we rebranded because the old name limited persons' understanding of what we're about. So we do advocacy and training and research around gender equality, which sounds very broad. It is broad. And our tagline says, creating equal spaces. So that gives an idea of what we're about. So we promote gender equality and we come to it from all different angles. But we do have a focus, which is the reduction of gender-based violence in any way. Sexual harassment, because it's part of what we consider gender-based violence, which has always been a focus of our work. Sexual harassment is something that we have been working around in terms of advocacy, in terms of public education, off and on for many years. Women and men, because both women and men, young, mixed ages, all sorts of different groups we were working with. Women and men felt that one, it's a problem, two, a policy to address it is not enough, legislation is needed. We feel at WMW Jamaica that legislation around sexual harassment is absolutely critical because it is part of the whole umbrella or family of problems that we call gender-based violence. And it needs to be treated as something serious. And people consider it something not less than serious by saying, oh, it's our culture. It's our culture to be friendly, and when we are with someone who we know and who is happy to be hugged, to talk about with us how you look good, how I look good. Yeah, that's part of our culture. It's also part of our culture to talk about one another's bodies. And I sometimes forget this when I travel. I can't say, why, you look good, you put down weight. In some countries you cannot do that. But we're very open with that here. We're comfortable with that. But that does not mean that talking about somebody else's body or touching somebody else's body when it is not wanted, when it is experienced as something that is humiliating and degrading and offensive, has never been and does not belong in our culture. In employment situations, it's absolutely critical because that's when the power differentials come in. And gender-based violence is all about, as we understand it at WMW Jamaica, it is an abuse of power. Young people who experience extremely high rates of unemployment are very susceptible, very vulnerable to sexual harassment on the job because of course they're desperate to get and hold some kind of employment, and it is that vulnerability that is exploited. We need to get the understanding that our bodies are sacred, are not for others to use how they wish to use them, and to treat our bodies and our sexuality and our gender with absolute dignity. So it's very much linked to the way we treat other forms of gender-based violence. We fully support the win-win program. Gender equality means good business. We are very glad that the EU and the ILO are supporting this. It's very necessary that the issue of sexual harassment in this partnership, it's UN Women working in partnership with the Bureau of Gender Affairs, it's very necessary that it receives the backative of organizations with the credibility and the status of ILO and EU, that it gets recognized as something that we need to put on the national agenda for public action. And we really would like to call on our friends, our colleagues, families, everyone we know, the whole of Jamaica, to talk about sexual harassment, to know that it's okay to say, no, I don't want it, it's wrong.